Is in fact armoured. Look at the thickness of the armoured glass. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, hi, this is Simon from Lot 76 Cars. I'm at the Benz and Friends event at Car Audio Services in Hayes in Middlesex. Some great cars arriving here. Let's go and have a look at them. Let's have a chat with some of the owners and let's see some Mercs of all generations. Keep watching. In both ends of Mercedes-Benz Roadsters and our 129 SL, followed by an absolutely lovely Pagoda. Oh, isn't that lovely? They are just glorious. So I'm here with James, who owns this A124, let me get it right, W124 series, but it's an A124 denoting the cabriolet. It's an absolutely glorious colour because it's in a solid red, which is actually quite unusual, isn't it, for one of these?
It's weird for the 124s. It was more common on the 129s,
right,
or the SLs, because it's a bit flamboyant. And these are all sort of quiet gentlemen's cars.
Right,
so,
silvers and light blues and things like that.
Yes, they're very discreet, and this is an incredibly indiscreet colour.
Excellent. So we're inside the workshop at Car Audio Security, and one of the first cars we've come across is this W201190. It's a 2516 2.5 litre 16 valve. The original cars were fettled quite a lot with the heads with Cosworth, never officially called Cosworth, as everybody probably knows. This is an absolutely glorious colour, very similar to the one that Senna raced in some of the F1 supporting races when he was a very junior driver at that stage. Love those gold decal alloy wheels. Bit of headlamp wiper action there as well going on. That's glorious, isn't it? So this beauty is a special car. It's a W111 from 1969, a coupe, but in actual fact it is the pre-production prototype, the only pre-production prototype right-hand drive car. So we're going to have a chat with the owner in a second, because I can see it's got lots of entries to concourse events. It looks an absolute beauty. So let's find out more about this unusual car. So I'm here with Jez Patel, who owns this absolutely glorious W111 from 1969. As I mentioned, a pre-production car. Tell us how you came to get it, because it's a pretty unusual car, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very, very rare. It's the only right-hand drive pre-production car in the world. So basically, I loved Mercedes brand. I got that from my father. Really, he was a proper Mercedes person. You know, he had always had the latest S Class Mercedes,
right?
And so that's where that comes from. And I've always loved this shape, this coupe, the coupe shape on these cars. I just think it's absolutely fantastic.
Pretty, isn't it?
Every line is like really, really very special. And I was looking for a restored car, and I came across this. It happened to be a pre-production car, which I couldn't believe, because normally pre-production cars are destroyed.
Did you know this at the time when you?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. They'd advertised it as such, but you kind of have your doubts.
Yeah, it's normally the cost of, I think, the VAT and things like, or the taxes liable.
Yeah,
on a pre-production. Wow, has it survived?
Yeah. So I went over to the to go and have a look at it, check the paperwork. This comes with the most detailed history file I've ever seen on any car.
Wow.
It's got 2 massive lever arch folders full of like all the data cards, all the original purchase invoice,
right?
Literally everything on this car, every service, every item that's been spent. Even the guy who imported the car from Germany to the UK in 1971.
Oh, even though it's okay, so he personally imported it.
Yeah. So he
wow.
he went out to Germany. So basically, his they were a dental company,
right,
in Southwark.
Right.
And his nephew worked in the Mercedes-Benz factory.
Wow.
Right. So, and his nephew, found that there was this pre-production car that was right-hand drive, that could be for sale. So the guy went over, drove the car,
right,
bought it, and imported it back to the UK in 1971.
Wow.
And
that was pretty unusual on the roads. I would have thought in 71, not so many of these around.
This was a very, very prestigious car now, but even back then, particularly back then. So yeah, very rare. So he had it, and they used it. It's done over 100,000 miles, 132,000 miles. So they actually used the car as it should be used.
Wow.
You know? And apparently the story goes that they even had a trailer on the back of it at one stage. So I actually met the son of the guy who imported the car, because he's in his 90s now. But I met the son, and he remembers going on holidays.
Fabulous.
In the caravan.
The history like this, you cannot.
No, absolutely.
There's no substitute for it.
Yeah.
Oh, smashing!
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Now, we've met this low riding car before, actually, a previous event, I think at a Bicester event. Unfortunately, had some issues with the footage when we were talking to the owner. I know it was imported from California, and in actual fact the car's a beautiful colour. Guess what, it's not an original colour, it's from a Transit. The owner spotted a Transit whilst he was trying to think of what colour to paint it in, and decided that was the colour for him. It's absolutely glorious, isn't it? And supposed to be Bruno Sacco's favourite design is this lovely SEC. That's beautiful. Pillar design as well, as you can see. Let's just follow him a bit further. That's lovely. So I'm going to talk to Varis about this absolutely lovely SEC that he's come in here today. Varis, can you tell us a little bit more about this car, please?
Right, so this is a 500 SC in diamond blue metallic.
Wow.
It's got about 150,000 miles on it. As you can see on the side, it's got brand new Aero 3s made up by Voodoo Motorsport.
Wow.
And, yeah.
Have you had it in the family a long time?
We've only coming up to a year now. We've had it. So
Okay.
yeah.
And you had one before? Your family had one of these?
First one.
Okay.
First one in the family.
Excellent. And have you done much work to it apart from the wheels, or?
Yeah, we've changed some of the chrome on the sides.
Oh wow. Okay.
And some of the interiors changed as well.
So we've got another R230, an SL55 AMG, this one a bit less modified. Then we've got the sort of iron fist in a velvet glove, the V8 bi-turbo E-Class wagon. That's super, isn't it? The A124 Cabriolet, and we'll just obviously put the top down in the sun. And then we've got, now this is relatively unusual, I think. I don't see too many V12s. It's a V12 R129 SL. That's quite a special car. I would have thought that's quite a rare car as a V8. We'll try and find out a bit more information. And if you're into your SLs, you've clearly come to the right place with these. So this is a W124 E-Class this time. It's a 280. It's a relatively late car. It's a K, so that would make it a 92, 93. Wasn't going to be that long before it was replaced. Again, I think it's a similar colour. I think it's also blue-black. I'm going to stumble over the colour of this one. Now, this low-rided beauty next to my Merc, I think this colour... Oh, I'm going to struggle on this one now. I'll put it on the screen in the comments. It's on the tip of my tongue, guys. If you get there before me, then feel free to comment. As you can see, it's got air suspension on it. It's got bigger wheels. I love what they've done with the wheel trims on this one, which echo the original ones. Let's just take a walk around to the back of it. It's even got the original dealer sticker in there, Maloney & Rose, Cambridge. Wow. And finally, looking a bit more standard and a bit higher up from the ground, is my W201 190. So we're going to talk to Monica about this glorious W123. It looks like a relatively late car. Can you tell us a bit more about the car and how you came to get it?
It's 1981.
Oh, it's an 81. Okay, yeah.
Well, we went to Cyprus and done a classic car run. Right. And they loaned us a car. And we thought, oh, this is the nice car. And they were saying it's a cheaper classic car.
Yes.
So when we got home, we said, oh, we'll look for a W123 because they was a quite cheap car at the time to buy.
That was an expensive holiday then. That was dangerous.
We didn't buy it there. We bought it when we come home.
Okay.
But now it's obviously gone up in value. They're quite
prized, aren't they? Their
yeah.
build quality is legendary, isn't it?
Well, we bought it in that time, back over 10, maybe 12 years ago.
Right.
and it was one of the cheapest classic cars to buy.
And have you done much with it in terms of rallies, and do you use it every day or just at shows?
Don't use it every day, we use it for shows.
Okay.
It's been to a lot of shows, like I said, we've had it for 12 years.
Right, oh fantastic.
And we didn't have to have too much done to it. It was all in good condition, and we tried to keep it that way.
Right.
We had a bit.
Believe it or not, introduced in 1979 is this W126 S Class. I think this was second generation S Class. It's difficult to believe that it was introduced so long ago, in fact predating the 190 by a couple of years or so. Another SL, later one, and we've got, of course, no event would be complete without the R129, would it? What a glorious colour that one is. And unusually, we've got a limo here. So this one survived. It's a W123 limo. I think these pretty much were factory produced, but we'll try and take a closer look at this one. It's unusual to see these. There weren't many built, and I guess fewer survived really. Now these early Mercs, so-called fintails, and we'll see why in a second, this looks like a 71, is a really distinctive looking car, and particularly this one's a left-hand drive car, so it's obviously been imported from abroad. We can see why it was the fintail. We'll take a look at the back, and it's clear, echoing the sort of American cars of the same period. Now, shown at the, I think it was the 87 Motor Show at Geneva, was the replacement for the W123 series coupe. This is the W124 series, but obviously it's the coupe, so it's the C124. Gotta love that pillarless design. And okay, yeah, we've got the wipers on the lights. So for those of you who are fixated on that, here's a very gratuitous wiper on light shot for Hubnut fans really. Here's a later SEC, another C124 coupe, and yeah, another one. The more I see these, the more I want one. Hopefully I'm going to be driving one of these pretty soon. So we're going to have a chat with the owner of this fabulous SL, get us to talk a bit more about the car, and he's one of the directors of the Mercedes-Benz Club as well, and maybe he can tell us a bit more about that. So I'm with Clive, who's a director of the Mercedes-Benz Club, not Owners Club, Club. I learned that lesson a long time ago. So we're at the Benz and Friends events at Car Audio Security. This is the second one I've been to. Maybe we could ask Clive to tell us a bit more about the club. It celebrated its anniversary last year, and also some of the activities that the club does. This is only one of them.
Yeah, so one of the good things about the actual Mercedes-Benz Club is that we hold events across the entire country and Ireland. Let's not forget Ireland. And we'll have events from pub meets straight through to events like today at Car Audio Security, straight through to like even Hampton Court, Salon Privé. Right, we try and get ourselves in all these little nooks and crannies everywhere. And we are a club, and we're also very much a young community. So today, Kaz, right, alongside my actual Car Audio Security, alongside my actual mate Raj, we put on a fantastic event here every year called Benz with Friends, and exactly what it is. It's actually a community of Benz people, right, who are not trying to be right. We all silently are friends. So one thing I will say is that when you come to this event, what you see is that you see a cornucopia of delights, and we welcome all types of Mercedes, from old to new to young timer to unmodified to pagodas to W111s, right, to like W108s slammed, right. What we try and do is that we're trying to take all parts of the actual Mercedes-Benz world and the Mercedes-Benz community and put it all together into this wonderful melting pot, and just celebrate the mark, because I'm all about the mark. As you can see, look, I've got my thing on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got my thing on. So yeah.
Well, as a member of the club for the last couple of years, I can say that I've certainly had a lot of value out of it. So if you've got a Mercedes-Benz, this is the club to join. It's the only recognised official Mercedes-Benz club in the UK.
We've got it for 70 years. 70
years. So there must be getting something right there. So thanks very much. Thank you, Clive.
No, thank you.
Absolutely fabulous early series, 1974, first generation S Class, W114, I think from memory. I'll correct that if it's wrong. What a beautiful car and a lovely colour. Is it Cypress Green? I can't remember. Correct me in the comments if I get that one wrong, guys, please. Now, if you want to stand out, this slammed A-Class might be the way to do it. Wow, what a car. Look at the wheels. There's something else, aren't they? I'm not sure what that colour's called. I'm not even sure if it's a wrap. It might even be painted. And of course it's got the obligatory spoiler. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. Cars like this modified AMG A-Class behind me. We're going to see a lot more older Mercedes, new Mercedes, modified ones, and even a few track cars, and hopefully catch a few interviews a bit later on. So please keep watching. So we're going to have a chat with Robin about this absolutely monster W202. I've never seen anything like it. I'm going to get Robin to tell us a little bit more about it on camera because he's the expert. It's his car. It's easier probably to say what hasn't been modified, to be honest with you. So bear with us. We'll have a chat with him now. So I'm here with Robin, sat in this very uncompromising seat in this W202. I've never seen anything like it at all. I said it would be easier to say what hasn't been modified. Robin, tell us more about it because it's a fabulous creation.
It's predominantly a track car, so it started off as a C43 AMG W202. Had it about 10 years now.
Right.
And my first taste of track days, I went to Nürburgring. That's sort of, you know.
You didn't go lightly then. You
didn't go lightly, went straight to deep end. That was it. Yeah, that's how I do things.
Right.
Straight to deep end, straight over the Nürburgring, and it was a standard car. Went with a few friends, and it was mushy.
Okay.
Yes, it was fast and it coped with the track use, but the car was mushy. It means that the brakes were very soft very quickly. There was not much grip. So it was. I just it was going past me like only one of those people.
Right.
So came back. One of the things I realised was the seats were very soft, lower seats. I was sliding around.
Yeah, these are proper bucket seats now, aren't they?
So bucket seats in, different tyres, a bit more grip, and then I put in a 5.5 engine.
Right.
Which was a huge modification because it gave me another 50 horsepower.
Wow.
And 100 more torque. So wow, a lot more power.
So what sort of power is it running now then?
Around 385.
385, okay. But quite lightweight. You take it. It looks like you've taken quite a lot of weight out of the car.
Yeah. So the engine is clean. The engine is clean and cammed and remapped. Has got some special bits in there. The car then came back from the ring my second trip, stripped the car out, put roll cage in because it's very important to have a roll cage.
Yeah, can see the.
So stripped out all the interior, and that saved me. So the factory of this car is 1670 kilos.
1670 factory, yeah.
And now weighs 250 kilos.
Wow, so you've taken 400 or so kilos out and
Just
put additional power over the original C43
Yes.
AMG will be plus how many brake horsepower? 100 or?
Yeah,
Wow.
give or take.
Wow.
And then, so the weight out of the car, and then I started to do a bit more aero, so a rear wing, front splitter, went back to the ring, a few UK track days, the car was becoming faster.
Wow.
So next thing was suspension. So I went with KW variant 2, went to a guy in Birmingham called Centre Gravity to tune the car, chassis tune it, put some adjustable bushers in there, and then the car became a lot more drivable, a lot more readable.
Right,
track.
got you.
So that's when the lap time started to come, and it started to become a proper fast track car with lots of grip.
So how fast does it go? So everybody talks about the ring time, and I see the new Honda Civic's gone around quite quickly. So
Yes.
what's the sort of
So
what time are
my
you doing with
quickest
this?
time is 7:54.
7:54.
Yes.
Even that sounds quick, and I don't know much. I mean, it's in the sevens already.
Yes, it's at high sevens, but it's hard to get a clear lap there. That's the truth. It's very hard to get a clear lap.
Yes, a lot of tourists.
I've done lots of laps there, so I average 8 minutes. It's an 8-minute car, and yeah. So and then so went it a few times, done my tracks, done the UK track days, started to really make the car faster. Started to iron out a few team problems, getting some ventilation to cabin where all these hoses are,
Right.
because they got quite high on it. Plastic windows again to reduce weight, pedal box,
Right.
different front brakes that can put up with track use. So it now brakes all the way
Wow.
through no ring with no problem at all. So one of the last things then was the gearbox, because all engines are automatic. So it was an automatic for the first most of the car's life. And I was on YouTube and I saw a video about a guy who put a manual transmission in an SLK 430.
Okay.
Sorry, CLK 430
Okay.
in America. got me to thinking. I knew it was possible to.
You didn't use those words. How hard can it be? Did you?
No, I didn't. So I knew it was possible to manage transmission. So I got the car back 1 year. On the winter, it goes up on the actual standard front driveway, so it doesn't drive in the winter. Gone to eBay, found a manual gearbox over in Dartford from an SLK 320.
Okay.
Got the box, got the bits on the driveway, took the old gearbox out, started to turn it into a manual transmission. And that's what it is now. It's a 6-speed manual from an SLK 320. It's been out for about 4 years now. Hasn't put foot on any track.
Right.
Hasn't had a problem, hasn't burned any gears, nothing. So that was the last modification I did to the car, significant modification. And as far as I know, this is the only AMG manual in existence.
Wow. Any plans for, I mean, you've done a lot, there can't be a lot that you haven't done inside or outside the car or under the bonnet. Any plans left? What boxes have you got to tick off, Robin?
Track time.
You reduced the track time?
No, more.
Oh, you want
more track time, that's
you
it.
want actually more time on track, just use it.
Yeah.
So while we're out having a chat, this fantastic looking W140 turned up. That's a lovely colour, isn't it? That's a beauty. These are getting rarer and rarer. And the amount of engineering that went into these cars at the time, I mean, even back in the day, was 50, 60, 70,000 pound cars. So this 2.6 Sportline automatic is a Japanese import. We're going to have a chat with the owner about this. He's just fitted quite a fruity exhaust to it. Let's go and have a chat with him about it. So we're going to have a chat with Anand about this fabulous 2.6. I'm jealous because I've only got a 2 litre, but he's got the full 2.6 and he's done some modifications on it. So let's have a chat about this this car behind us now. It's a Japanese import. You've had it a while.
Yeah, I've had it about a year. I've just had the exhaust done, catback stainless steel system. Also had the gearbox rebuilt and some engine work done as well. And yeah, it's original. It's got electric seats, electric headrests, air conditioning, cruise control, all from the factory. It's even got the Sportline interior with the rear bucket seats as well.
Oh, it's got air conditioning, has it?
Yeah,
That's a welcome option.
And it all works too, so yeah, it's all
fabulous.
good.
You use it every day, or?
Yeah, I use it as a daily, obviously, until ULEZ comes in, and then it'll get parked up and taken out once in a while. But yes, it's very nice to drive.
Excellent. Well, thanks for chatting to us. Much appreciate that. And that's how your 190 should sound. So even the overflow parking's a pretty good place to be. So a 230, a W124, same year as mine. It's a G-plater, newer E-Class. And next to it, this absolutely glorious green. Is that willow green? It might be willow green. That was a 190 colour, I'm sure, a W201 colour. A W123 with a factory roof in it. It's a B-plater. That's quite a late one. If you think the W124 followed on from this, and those early cars were sort of C-plates, I think. That's a lovely car. A relatively late facelifted C124 coupe. This is a 220. That's quite an unusual dark blue colour. And let's go a bit further along, see what we find. Yeah, another W124. These are great cars, aren't they? They do last so well. And you know, you think of this car as a D in 86, probably. You know, it's pretty much, won't be long before it's knocking on its 40th birthday, and look how well it looks. Lovely C63 AMG entering, and still people are arriving. As I said, some new Mercedes here, a CLA 45, and a C63 AMG again. Wow, they're like buses. Pre-full ownership of AMG My Mercedes-Benz, they were actually modifying cars themselves. I think this is an example of it, this SEC with the wide arches. Obviously it's got the enhanced wheels on there. Look at that interior, that is something else, isn't it? My God, that's glorious. A non-airbag wheel. And let's take a look from the front. Apologies, need to keep talking to avoid a copyright strike here. So there we are on the front. You can see those wide flared arches as well. What a car! So for a relatively short period of time, Mercedes established or re-established the Maybach as a separate brand. And this is an example of them. Relatively short-lived. It's now applied to high-level Mercedes, high trim levels rather than a separate model. But what an absolutely superb car. We'll try and get a look inside it if we can. I mean, it's something really special. If you're a plutocrat, this is probably the standard equipment for plutocrats all around the world. So I'm going to talk to Mitesh about this absolutely fabulous Maybach 57. You don't see too many cars of these full stop. I think one of the other guests here commented it was about 300 grand back in the day. Mitesh, tell us you didn't pay 300 grand for this car.
No, quite a lot less than that. So much so I've actually got two of the damn things.
You've got two of them?
Yeah, I've got another left-hand drive one which I've had for about 10 years.
And how many are in the UK, do you think?
There are a few, but they're all tucked away. What happened after a certain amount of time,
right,
they got to that age where they were like too expensive to maintain.
Right.
So a lot of them just ended up being like parked up and stuff, and main thing is the air suspension that fails on these.
Right.
Each strut's like 4 grand.
4 grand a strut,
4 grand a strut, yeah. There's so many out there that, you know, people have just parked up and not really done anything with them. But
wow.
My plan is to get a few more.
To get a few more?
Yeah,
you're going to corner the market, are you?
I'm going to resurrect the phoenix from the ashes, basically.
Excellent. Oh, well, good luck with that one anyway.
No worries, man.
Thanks very much.
Good to see you, thanks.
Now, this Ducatlet Karat series car is readily to the unusual anyway, but this one, let's have a look at this one, because you'll notice this one, this ex-Mohammed Al Fayed car, is a bit different. It's a bit more special. So look at the windows. The vehicle is in fact armoured. Look at the thickness of the armoured glass. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, you wouldn't know it's armoured from the outside. It looks like the rims are the specially reinforced rims. I don't recognise those as even vaguely connected to any rim I've ever seen before, but I guess you've got significant additional weight on this car. So you can get probably some idea that inside it actually looks relatively standard, a standard S Class, although it's got velour trim rather than leather, which is unusual. It's got the blinds on the back window, but apart from that, you wouldn't know that it's actually an armoured S-Class. So thanks for joining me at the Mercedes-Benz Club organised Benz and Friends event at Car Audio Security in Hayes in Middlesex. Hope you've enjoyed some of the cars we've seen, some of the owner interviews. Please like, share, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.